Hello, my friends. Together Run 34, and you are joining me from St Albans, England. Let's start this run off as we always do, with touching some element of nature, grounding yourself somehow. I am touching a leaf from a flowery bush that is way, way bigger than I ever remember it being. It has exploded since I was last home. And yeah, are we ready to begin our run? Yeah? In 3, 2, 1, and off we go. This is so cool. You're coming with me for a run from home. I'm going to take you on one of my favourite running loops that I do that has hopefully less cars than other ways. As much as I love my hometown, it is very... there's way too many people in it for how big it is, let's just put it that way. And so you rarely find a time where it's quiet anywhere. And so, yeah, I'm excited to take the special run with you today from my hometown. If this is your first Together Run, welcome, and you can always take your time with another episode where maybe we'll go over the basics a bit more, one of the earlier episodes, or you're welcome to join us here and just kind of fill in the gaps as best you can. But what the layout is going to be, we are going to start in a minute with a body scan, where we will work from our head to our toes, just checking in with all the parts of the body when I tell you to, and then we will go on to a mental check-in, see how we're feeling, and then we will go into a senses check-in to see with our 5 main senses, and then we will go on to a conversation piece, just checking in with how we're doing. I haven't really got a topic to talk about today, but I figured that would be really easy for me to share memories and talk about things as I go. I think that's about it. It's been a few weeks since I recorded a Together Run. If you did last week, so you will know I tried last week when I was in Boston to do one, but it was raining, so the last thing I want is to destroy this mic I use. And so, what did you think of Cynthia's episode? If you haven't done it, it was like a musical. Cynthia is a pianist, and she was able to combine her love for piano and music with her running. And so I thought that was a really special treat for us to be able to use. So hope you enjoyed that one last week. And I said this week you're joining me for a run around St Albans. Actually going to go over into Hatfield, which is the next town over. And yeah. Alright, so shall we begin with our body scan? Okay, I'm going to give you some guidance, shout out some various parts of the body for you to check in with and see how they feel. And then we will go on to the next piece. Alright. Starting at the top of your head, working down into your eyes, going around the back of the head, going around the back, down into your ears, coming back around the front through your nose, mouth, into your chin, going into your neck, the front of your neck, around the back of the neck. This bit's going to be quite loud, sorry. Going into your neck, going down into your shoulders, into your upper back, coming around to the front to your ribs, And let's go into your arms, and going into the upper arms, down into the lower arms, going into your wrist and hands, and finally into your fingertips. Going back into the body, the main core of the body, working your way through your chest and stomach, going down into your hips and pelvis, and working your way through your glutes, hamstrings, and quads, going into the front of the knee and the back of the knee, and round into the shin and calf, and finally down into the ankle, into the top of your foot, the bottom of your foot, arch, and into your toes. How's everything feeling? Any areas that feel particularly tight? Any areas that are bothering you and have been for a few days? Maybe it's time to go get that checked out by a professional. Just take a moment to reflect on how your body is feeling. Okay, I just need to cross the street. It's once I get off this road, I will be nice and quiet. But it is rush hour, unfortunately. Oh, someone's letting me pass. Thank you, very kind. And one more street, and off we go. Okay, yeah, now it should be a lot quieter. And we can think a bit more. Well, I can. You probably can't hear it that bad. Whenever I think it's loud, it never quite is as loud as I think. Okay. Before we begin our census check-in, I'm just going to tell you a little about where I am. So, about 5 minutes away right now. 7 minutes. And I'm going up to a farm called Oakland's Farm. And just a place that people get education. There's obviously a farm element to it. There's lots of greenery around, although it's kind of brown right now. And this is a spot I used to run through a lot on my runs when I wanted a more quiet running day. Unfortunately, we are going to get back to the traffic for a little while, but it's not too long. And as I said earlier, there really isn't a way around it, especially at this time of the day. Just going up a little hill. And I feel actually, for me, like my breathing is a little more strained than it has been for some reason today. Okay. Are we ready to begin our census check-in? So what we're going to do, we're going to work through our 5 senses, ending with our sight. So let's start, as we always do, with prepping up that nose, taking a nice deep breath. And another one. Thank you. Okay, now, what do you smell? I don't know if I could put a word on what I smell. It's just home. It's just a familiar, comforting smell. But it's not really anything in particular. I guess it's England. All right, and what do you taste? For me, taste my toothpaste as I just brush my teeth. Okay, well, I'm going to move on now to hearing. Oh, by the way, I looked up what the words are. So this is olfactory, right? Or is it auditory? No, olfactory is nose. Auditory, or something like that. Ooh. Get you started a bit early with some horse hooves. Oh, I picked the wrong time. Lots of horses. Okay, all right. So there you go, you had some horse hooves on my end. Okay, so what you're going to do when it is safe to, I want you to pull your headphones out and just listen for like 30 seconds or so. What do you hear in your surroundings? If you're uncomfortable or it isn't safe to pull away your headphones, just listen to my sounds. Obviously you heard the horse hooves just there. What else do you hear? Right, let's check in there. Okay. Thank you for checking in with your hearing, your auditory sense, I suppose. And next, this is one of the words I learned. We're going to our tactile sense. So why don't you take a moment to check in with that. That means just being inside your body and paying attention to what you feel, what your sense of touch is aware of. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay. Did you see any, or did you feel anything that you didn't normally feel? Now we're changing seasons. Probably got some different sensations to what you had in the past on earlier together runs, if you've been doing these for a while. What did you feel that was something that is different today? Okay, and finally, getting on to our site. I can't remember the word for this one. No idea. Yeah, so we're going to go onto our site, going to look around. As always, I want you to be safe first. Do what is safe for you. If it's not safe to look to one way or the other, make sure you prioritize your safety. And 2, try and pick something different. Be it up in front that you're honing in on, be it a small detail on a car or a tree, What do you see? Let's look to the left. I'm not going to guide you as much today. Just look into the left. Keep looking back if you need to. What do you see? I see a horse trough. I see some sheep. There's a black and white sheep that has a red paint on it, or whatever they spray sheep with. So it looks quite funny. It's got like black and white spots and red. What do you see? Go to the middle, out in front. What do you see over there? Again, try and pick details, small things. Especially if you have done this run many times before, you're trying to pick something new. And to the right, and all around to the right. What do you see? Okay, and let's reflect. What did you see that was different? Okay, unfortunately, now we're coming to the busy part and get off the main road for as much as I can. But for the next mile, it's just unfortunately going to be pretty loud. Just the way it is around here. Okay, so I'm stopped, but you are obviously keeping going. I want you to tell me now, if I was to turn to you at this point in the run and say, how are you? What would you say? To just talk about how you're feeling mentally, emotionally. What would you say? You finished already? Dig down a bit deeper. Find some other things to tell me. Okay. Right, what would I tell you? Really think about this. How am I feeling? I'm feeling content. I'm out doing what I love with the community that I care about. That's you, by the way. In a place that I love, that feels so comforting to me. Feels like a warm hug. Even, yes, the fact it's so busy. Even, yes, the things that aren't ideal here after 2 years, more than 2 years, and almost 2.5 of being away. I feel like safe and warm. Even though I'm probably less safe, a lot less safer than I was at home because of the amount of cars and because of the amount of stuff going on. Like, you have to be on it. It's not quite driving in New York, but maybe like driving in Philly or Chicago. Yeah, so I feel that. I feel use what we call a zebra crossing to cross the road right now, which means cars have to stop. except for that guy who decided to just go ahead anyway. Rude. Yeah, I feel... what was I saying? Can't remember. I just feel I'm seeing people who I love so much, and just being around them and smelling their hair and being in their presence. I just feel so full up. I've been very careful with my time this time around, which has meant I haven't... Usually my friends... I met up last night with one of my best friends in the world, Charlie, and her husband, Trev, they're both friends of mine, and Steve's. And we met up with them, and they were joking that I had... they were there for the starters, and then I had someone coming in for the mains, and I was just going to sit at the restaurant all night, and people were just going to funnel in. Because while they're joking, it kind of is what I used to do when I came here. And I still care about a lot of those people I'd love to see. But with COVID and with the fact I'm going up to visit my aunt tomorrow, who is very high risk and is an incredible human being. Oh my God, she's one of my role models. She had chemo last year, and as you can imagine, it wiped her immune system out. And even though she is the healthiest eater I know, in terms of getting good nutritious food, but also in terms of like not having structure or restrictions, she just does what she listens to her body 100%. But even that hasn't been enough to build her immune system back up. So I've been a bit careful the last few days. But I did see those few people. I saw one of my aunts, obviously my mum and dad. And I'm seeing one of my other best friends, Tracy, and her husband, Costas, today. And their little boy. And so I'm trying to take them. I have really been focusing on being present, and I feel like I've done a really good job of it. Actually being present, and I deleted social media off my phone, so my screen time's been really low, and I've just been there. But I will say that there's that part of me. I've talked about this in a few Running For Real emails, which if you haven't signed up, go do it. If you like these kind of runs, you will like that. Anywhere on runningforreal.com you can sign up. But so I've talked about a lot the being excited versus being what did Brad Stulberg use? What was the term he used? Basically being present. And as I haven't seen my sister yet, and my niece and nephew and my brother-in-law, there's that part of me that wants that time to be here so that I can be with them over Christmas. But I really feel proud of my mental state in terms of being here so far, and in terms of the work I've done at therapy to be present and to be able to let things go. Because I don't know about you, but I find when I tend to get back in my family environment, it's very easy to fall into patterns and habits of things that you maybe don't like about yourself, or things that you do that are either triggered very easily or are triggering for other people. And so I've really been working over the last few years on that. Yet it's still easy to, I have to consciously be working on it, or I will find that I just keep doing the same old things again. So I feel like I've been doing well so far. This is Thursday as I'm recording this. So we've been here like 5 days. So already a big chunk of the trip is gone. And I'm just, appreciating it. So that's what I'd say I am. To be honest with negatives, let me think. I need to go to the bathroom. There's that. So my brain is trying to scan, where could I go? Otherwise, I guess it is just trying to be in the moment enough to appreciating just being with people as they are. So I'd say it's that. So the annoying thing right now is that I do actually have a family friend who lives less than a minute from here, but I haven't seen her in like 10 years. And that'd be incredibly uncomfortable to be like, hi, can I use your bathroom? So I'm not going to do it. I know, I probably should. And that's one of those things, right, where we can, when someone else is doing it, you'd be like, yeah, you should. But then if it was you, you're like, I don't know. I can find something. So I'm going to see if I can get into my old gym. Well, I know I can get in the bathroom if I get there. Just trying to see how to get in. I think I might have to go around the front. Okay, so that was our check-in emotionally. On a similar note, as I've been talking for quite a while, if I said, what updates do you have? What would you tell me? Or if this is your first time running with me, tell me a bit about yourself. What would you tell me? Last bit of noisy road here, and then we are going to be quiet for quite a while. Woo! Big semis, trucks, lorries. Now, what words should I use while I'm running with you? Should I use the English ones, or should I use the American ones? Because most of you are American. I feel like I should use the English ones. It's really funny, yesterday we were on the train and we went to London for the day, the four of us, and on the train, anytime we went through a tunnel, train in to London, anytime we went in the tunnel, Bailey would go, who turned the lights off? Who turned the lights off? And she kept saying it over and over, and I was like, oh my god, she sounds so American. Like, I don't know if it was just surrounded by British voices, but she kept saying it over and over. And I was just like, oh my god, so American. Crazy. But yeah. Alright, there's a restaurant here. I think I might ask them if I can use the bathroom. Let's try it. Alright, friends, I'll be right back. I'm going to pause my recording. I can. Okay, better. Much better. Thank you to the Comet Hotel and Bar for the use of your services. Okay, so 30-minute group, you are almost done. Or maybe you are done in my confusion of remembering to stop my watch. When you are finished, let's just have you do an extra little bit just to get me to 30 minutes. And then I'll have you walk, and then we'll do a few strides. We are turning off the main road now at the Galleria, which is a shopping outlet, somewhere I used to spend many hours as a kid and a teenager. It's one of the main places to go. It's a bit lame, actually. It's not got the best shops inside, and never really did, but it's still a place to go. We would go there all the time. I think a lot of people did. And it does have, it's our closest cinema, movie theatre, and our closest, there's lots of restaurants there. So I guess it is pretty good for what it is. But the shopping there was never really my kind of shops. All right, come to a walk, 30-minute group, and we'll do a few strides in just a minute. 45 and 60 crew, you can carry on running with me. We'll do a stride in a few minutes. We are going to get away from the highway, the motorway. This is the M1, I think. M1 motorway. It's one of the busiest ones around here, and it's rush hour. So yeah, that's why that's busy. But we're gonna work our way away from it now. I am on Auburn Way, which is a path, bike path, old trail, train railway that goes alongside or through most of St Albans from one end to the other. And I've spent many hours here doing workouts and hard runs. All right, so are we ready to do a stride? In 3, 2, and 1. Just 10 to 15 seconds, that's it. And come to walk or jog. And I should say, as I always mention with strides, as you just saw there, 10 to 15 seconds should be about 80% of your max. Sprint, 80% of max. And you're not trying to take big steps, like bounds, because you would really, your shins will not be very happy about that. And other areas. They'll send big shockwaves up your body. And you're just trying to take more steps. And those more steps will increase your cadence, which will propel you further forward. So that's what we're trying to do today. And we'll do another one in just a few seconds. I just want to get down this. Actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to give you a few extra seconds. I just want to get across the street. And then once I've done that, then I'm clear for about 2 miles to just run. Yeah, this is normally right here is where I start my efforts. All right, 3, 2, and 1. And starting to a jog or a walk. If you are in the 30-minute group, you are done. Thank you for joining me. Take a screenshot, take a picture of yourself right now. If you're in that 30-minute group, upload it to social media. Say that you're joining in with my my Together Run in St Albans. Tag Running for Real. And on that note, all of you friends, if you don't follow at Running for Real on Instagram, please go follow. The team puts such amazing work in there, and they really put a lot of thought into every single post. So go follow Running for Real. That's your assignment for the day. to show your appreciation for these runs. There's no sponsors, so that's what you can do. Thank you. 30-minute crew. Hope you enjoyed today. I will see you on Friday for a Running for Real episode. It's let me think about this. Last week was Elise Kopecky, as you will hear this. And next week will be a sports psychology episode with Josh Leithrak, who you may remember during our mental training week. So be sure to check that out. Thanks so much for listening. All right, 45 minutes, 60 crew. We're going to keep going. And yeah. Okay, so let's do another body scan. I'm going to have you do it at your own speed. So you're just going to hear me quiet and we'll all do one together. All right, ready? Starting from the top of your head. Off you go. Last few seconds. Okay. Don't know if you can hear the cock-a-doodle-doo in the distance. Do you hear that? I'm going by actually a stables that I used to look after a horse at. Moonshine? I called her Mooney. Was her name Moonshine? I think it was. At the time, obviously, I had no idea what the alcoholic beverage was. But I used to look after a horse there and go there multiple times a week with one of my neighbours. Mooney was this old white horse I would ride and take care of. I don't think I've ever mentioned the fact that I was actually pretty horse crazy most of my life. I know I've mentioned about being a sport that I used to do, and I did, but I actually, it was so much more than just riding. It was my neighbours had horses and I would get up early in the mornings and go take care of them, and I'd do it in the afternoons, not every day, and if I did one I didn't do the other. It was just once a day, or maybe 3-4 times a week. And I loved it. I'm actually allergic to horses. Funny, but that allergy went away as I spent more time with them. Probably be allergic again now though. And I loved it. It was really, animals, not really an animal person, which you probably have already guessed. Like, I don't really want a cat or a dog. Don't really even want anything as a pet. But if there's any animal other than a koala, which is my favourite, that I love, it's a horse. I think I feel most connected to horses more than any other animal. And I really loved it. I used to go to see the horse shows. What was it? One of them I used to go to was called Olympia, I think. Anyone a horse person here in England, maybe you'll know. But yeah, so there's a lot of things around here that remind me of that, just from my rides through the fields of various places around where I am. We would go out and on what we called hacks. I don't know if that's a real word, but that's what we called it, for a ride out in the wild rather than just around the paddock. Was the term paddock? Menage? I think that was the word. So now I'm running along this beautiful, quiet path in St Albans, coming into St Albans. We were just in Hatfield. As I said, I did many of my workouts here, even the recent ones. but definitely the ones before I ran for GB and before I ran my personal best in London, or was my personal best in London, my favourite race. It was just spent so many hours out here, and I just really enjoy it. It also has other memories attached. I'll tell you about some of those when we get further down. But this part right here is just full of hard runs and pushing myself. It feels quite good to go easy on here now rather than pushing it all the time and just trying to, squeeze every last drop out of myself, to just be able to take it in. Again, be present. I feel like I've missed something on this run today. What did I forget to do? We got about 5 minutes left for the 40-minute group. And we'll say goodbye. I feel like there's usually another piece that I'm forgetting, but I just can't think. We're coming up to what I would consider one bad section, the industrial section, where you can hear industrial noises. There's also this disgusting smell of glue that comes out in a minute. No idea what the hell that is. And if that machine is turned on, it is rancid. And I actually hold my breath. Yeah, it's quite strong today. Hold my breath when it's on, because it just is so bad. Which, as you can imagine, doing my workouts wasn't really ideal. But I knew I was inhaling chemicals of some sort. And so yeah. This is the only bad bit of the whole thing, which is, I think, maybe 6 miles, 8 miles long total. And otherwise, I'm surrounded by lots of trees and fields and bushes, and then on the other side there's just industrial stuff, which is a shame, but it's got to go somewhere, right? And oh my god, that stinks. Yuck, almost done with it. I feel bad for the people who work there. Okay, now we're leaving that. They've got these giant high fences, so you can't see what's going on in there. But yeah, now we're coming out the other side. Okay. Do you want me to tell you more stories? Or should we have a moment of quiet, as I've been talking a lot? I think we should have 1 minute where I want you to just be in your body. I want you to just feel the experience of running. Nothing else. If your mind wanders, just bring it back to the experience of running. We're just going to do 1 minute of that, okay? No looking at your watch. I'll tell you when to start and when to finish. Okay, are we ready? Let's go. If your mind has wandered, bring it back. Okay, how did that feel? It's harder than you think, isn't it? To keep your mind on what you're doing. But hopefully that gave you a bit more of an experience of just what it feels like to run. Because quite often we get distracted, right? Because we're not being present. So I'm hoping this gave you the opportunity to do so. Okay, so we've got about 30 seconds left of the 45, and then you will come to a walk. Oh no, we can probably just go straight into a stride. You can run 45 minutes, you can go straight into it. And then if you want to take a break between a walk break, you can. But let's do the first stride together. And then I'm going to tell you all a story from my teenage years that is something I definitely haven't shared before, because this specific part we're getting to triggers that memory for me. It wasn't traumatic, but just kind of shows who I am. I was as a teenager, how I stood out. Okay, ready? 3, 2, and 1, off you go. And come to a walk or jog. I'll do one more in a minute. If you are doing the 45 minutes, when you come to a walk here, go follow Instagram. Go find Instagram, Running for Real. Go follow it right now. That's what you can do for me as a favour today. And any pictures you take, as I am not on social media for these next few weeks, tag Running for Real. And then they can show me afterwards, because I may not get to see it otherwise. But you sharing it still helps, because the community that follows you, even if you might think it's only 50 people or it's only 20 people, 10, 2, those people might be people that try together run. And then think about that gift you've given them. So still share it, please, but tag Running for Real. Okay, we ready? 3, 2, and 1. Okay, 45-minute group. You can come to a walk. Please, let's go ahead, all of us, stop our watches, take a quick picture, and catch your breath. Take a picture of what you see. I am looking right now at a hill, a little mound in a grass field. And I'll tell you why that's significant once you've taken your picture. Take that right now. I can't take one because it will stop the recording. Have you taken one? Great, thank you. Right, we can off we go. If you're in the 45-minute group, go upload that, tag Running for Real, follow Running for Real. Thank you so much for listening. You can stay along if you want to listen to this story, or you can head off. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Actually, this is the Christmas week, isn't it? If you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, whatever other holiday you are celebrating, thank you for being in my life. I appreciate you so much. And I love getting to know you. So keep those reach outs coming. You're the best. Okay. So that hill mound, I remember being maybe 15, 16, and it was one of the year-end parties near one of the the guy in my yearbook, his house was nearby. I'm going to call him MW, and it was his organising, I think. For some reason he stands out in my brain for that day. And so we had this party and there was alcohol, and I was always a bit sceptical with stuff like that. I don't think we were 15 now I think about it. We had to be like 13 or 14. And everyone was drinking. I think I had maybe a little bit of something. And then people were smoking and would offer me a cigarette and I'd say no. And then I remember people getting out weed and me feeling incredibly uncomfortable because I didn't want to do that. And I still haven't to this day. I just felt, and I know like that's so silly at this point, but that was, I don't know, I guess I'm a goody-goody. But I remember on that day being so like uncomfortable and thinking that like I didn't like the idea that I wasn't being myself. And I was very aware that in situations like that, I was very shelled up. I was very careful and, shy. And, when boys would come up to me, I would just kind of be very nervous. And I had a few boys who I knew who I would just spend my time with because I knew they were safe around me. And not that anyone, was doing anything traumatic or bad, but you know how teenagers are. And yeah, now I think about it, like I just could never be myself when there was all those substances around. And I still feel that way. I mean, I got more comfortable as we started going out, but even then I would still end up finding myself I'd have some drinks, and yeah, sometimes I love to dance, so I'd go to the dance floor a lot, and I would have drinks quite a lot, but I always, most of the time, was in control of myself. And yeah, obviously I had a few periods where I maybe drank a bit too much, but for the most part I was really controlling myself, very measured with what I was having. And I found I could have quite a lot to keep up with my friends without it affecting me too much. I'm assuming that was my metabolism was just a bit quicker. But that said, I would still find myself in the corner talking to someone most of the time, just like a one-on-one deep conversation. And that's what I really like to do, rather than, being in a big group or not really kind of flitting from person to person. I much preferred having like a half an hour longer conversation with someone, regardless of whether it was someone I hadn't seen in a while or one of my close friends. I always preferred that. And I would again always have my safe people who I would be around. Charlie, who I mentioned last night, was my number one safe person, who I would just felt I could always be myself with, regardless of where we were. And if I felt too uncomfortable, I would just go to her, or there's a dog coming towards me and stuff. I would go towards her or one of the others and stay with them. I still have to get used to this in England. Speaking of weed, I definitely smell it right now. Whew. I have to get used to over here, people's dogs are so well trained that they often don't have them on a leash. And so they'll run towards you, but the owner will raise their hand, and then that's enough for the dog to just stop. And the dogs really, really respect their owners and listen, to everything. It's pretty impressive, even if they're sometimes I'll be in the middle of a field and the dog will come running at me and the owner will be like, hey, and the dog just stops and turns around or something. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of people right now. But yeah, so I know that was, quite an intimate story and possibly details where it's yeah, great, that's everyone's childhood. But for some reason, that one, every time I run past that mound, I think about that as I I don't know, maybe it was like I sensed something could have gone wrong with me or something, I don't know. But I was just very aware of it. And so, yeah, I'm now coming to, I'm going to leave this path. I'm going to get back on the road. It's going to be a bit loud again for a while. Actually, most of the way. But it's not going to be rush hour anymore, so it should be a little bit quieter. And yeah, it's strange. One of the strangest things actually of being back here was seeing people in a mask just going up these steps to get onto the main road. I'll finish my sentence in a minute. One of the strangest things was seeing people in masks here. Not my parents, because I'd seen them in a mask on FaceTime a few times, and that had been weird and kind of sad, like made me feel a bit sad. Like seeing your parents in a mask, it's the same as seeing your child in a mask, just makes you feel a bit like sad for the situation. You know, kind of that like, well, I don't mind wearing it, but do you have to? Kind of thing. Like that sacrificing feeling. But it was seeing like my aunt in a mask, or one of my best friends, Tracy, who I'm meeting later, seeing her mum and dad in masks. Like that was so weird and just kind of caught me off guard. It's kind of like, oh, well, I knew it was a pandemic, but I still didn't really register that life was in that way going to be different to before, because everything else here feels pretty much the same as it always has. And so, you know, well, at least for me, I tend to just slot back into my life here easily, but that part of it felt strange. I guess it is quite busy still. Maybe it never stops being busy anymore. I have to cut across. I have to really pay attention in St Albans when you're crossing anything, because people drive very fast. The first time Steve came to visit me, or with me here, the cars drive really close together. Like you learn the size of your car pretty quick, and you squeeze into the tiniest of gaps for parking, for like just driving around, like passing other cars on certain roads. Like it is like an inch away on both sides. And I remember Steve just like wincing a lot because he was just so not used to being that close to other cars. And it is quite scary when you haven't ever had anything like that before. And on that note, for the Americans, and I don't know about other places around the world, but here our parking spaces are so small that, like, if you had, let's say, I don't know what those big SUVs are called, like the Land Rover kind of cars, which people do have here, your wheels are pretty much touching the line on either side. That's how small these spaces are. So even if you've got, you know, what would be considered a smaller car in America, it's a bigger car here, and you have to be, the spaces are very small, there's not much room to turn around, so it's quite intimidating driving here. So yeah, it's weird. Okay, so right now I'm about quarter to half mile from my school I went to, my secondary school. So I was there from age 11, 12 to 18, Beaumont, and it was I had an amazing experience. I really did have a good school life. I was very fortunate. I had great teachers. My sport made me kind of have a free pass to kind of be, I don't know, get away with stuff, I suppose. I had a lot of friends in different groups. I know in America, it always surprises me that it is like the movies, the films, where there are like the jocks and the popular group and the nerds and the whatever. Like, maybe it is like that here, but I never had that experience. Like, I felt like I had my core group of friends, but I also was very close. I had like very close friends in other groups, and so I felt like I could talk to anyone. So I felt very fortunate there because I really did get to know most people in my year group. The people I didn't know were the people who were the like really rebellious ones, who I guess I was scared of. But even them, I'd say I still talk to them. So yeah, I did have a really good experience, and I feel like I was very fortunate with that, because not everyone did. And I may have mentioned this before, but my year group was very, very special in that they were just, even now to this day, I could probably see 50 people within that year, be put in a room with them and be very comfortable. So we really did have a special year group that was very close and still is. We're over, aren't we? Okay, come to a walk. Oh, this is a bit dangerous. There's a construction thing going on this main road, busy road, very busy road, and just saw a man pushing a baby on the main road because the concrete thing had blocked the road, blocked the path, the sidewalk. Okay, are you ready to do a stride? I'm going to keep running for now because I'm still 5 minutes away from home. All right, we'll do one stride together. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, and come to a jog or a walk. We'll do one more in a minute.
How are you?
Very English accent there. Okay, we're going to do one more in just a minute. All right, so then please remember what you can do for me today is you can go follow Running for Real and make sure you tag them if you upload to social media, because then I can see it at a later point, or even right now. They may screenshot it to me right now. Okay. Are you ready? I'm going to wait just a second because there's 2 people that I'm going to have to get around. Sorry. Okay, in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, come to a walk. Thank you so much for joining me today. actually, let me just stop for a sec. Let's just ground in something from nature. I'll just touch some English green grass to remind me of where I am. Very green. And like the grass where I left was not very green. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate you. You can leave a review on iTunes. Go follow at Running for Real and just send me your picture either in social media. You can upload it or an email. I'd love to hear from you, although I won't be responding to emails during this time. Thank you, friends. I'm going to leave this recording. If you want to keep going a few more minutes, you can. So I'm just going to start up again. I'll leave this going and you can just fade out as I finish. So, see you Friday. Thanks for listening. Hi friends, just a quick message to say a big thank you to the Running for Real team. While I may be the face of Running for Real and the voice behind the podcast, there are a group of people who are working tirelessly to provide everything that runners could need within our community, to make our community stronger, better, and evolve and grow and learn from one another. We are working really hard to make Running for Real the place we believe it can be within our community. I just want to take a moment to thank everyone on our team. That is Victoria, Stacey, Sandy, Sally, Maria, Kelsey, Kat, Jeremy, and Erica. I appreciate each and every one of you and the hard work that you put in. Now let's get back to the show.